So I found this post on the Pokemon investing subreddit that I wanted to share with you all. Here's a pretty insane post. This Pokemon collector slash investor has just hit a total value of over $1 million. Now, I know automatically when you hear that number, you think this person. There's no way they're lying. Anyone can just make a collector app account and just add whatever. That's true, especially nowadays. You can't trust anybody. But this person has a little bit of history that maybe they're not lying, and maybe this is actually true. And yeah, it's pretty crazy. $1 million. Like, I think the biggest collection slash investment I think I've featured on this channel from these Reddit posts has been like about 500,000, which is still an insane amount. But a million, we're talking about seven figures now, pretty crazy. So I want to show you guys here what this person has. A little bit of diving here. We'll read the text a little bit later, but I want to show you guys this post, some of the pictures, and some of the background of this person. So you can see here total value of over $1 million. Now they have about 1,400 items here. In total, they have 710 cards, 252 sealed, which is not much sealed to be honest, and 456 graded. So you can see it's pretty concentrated. If you break it down, like on average, like what each item is worth, it's about like mid to low 700s per item, like on average, if you wanted to break it down that way, which is I guess pretty high. For on average each item, but they do have some very expensive items in this whole collection slash investment, which is why this number is so high for only being 1,400 items. Now the collector app, I don't know if it's messed up or how this is broken down, but it says total paid is only $1,000, and the market value is like 554,000, and the returns is 492,000. But here it shows total value of $1 million. I'm not exactly sure how how the collector app works, or if this is part of his thing. Like, I don't know, to be honest. Maybe he has another profile. I honestly have no clue how this works, but here's his total value of $1 million, and they confirm that in the description. So don't know why this says that here. Must be maybe different profiles. They have maybe multiple accounts. Like I said, I don't know how the app works. I don't have it. But yeah, you can see here. Here's a little bit of some information on their top most valued items. So yes, I know they're not showing the actual items, as a photo of it being in their hands. I understand that, so this they can be lying about this, but just look at what they have here: a gold, star Charizard from Dragon Frontiers in a 10, $59,000. Pretty crazy. Base set booster box, jungle booster box first edition, Team Rocket first edition, Gym Challenge first edition. They have a lot of the WotC booster boxes, so pretty cool. Here they only show like a few things. I'm not exactly sure why they're showing like the not as expensive stuff. You can see there's some old stuff here, XY Fates Collide. Some these are all new stuff. Honestly, like out of all the stuff, why show this these things? But here in this photo, they give a little bit more of I guess some depth here. They have some black and white Elite Trainer boxes, some XY Elite Trainer boxes. These go for thousands of dollars, guys. If you didn't know, XY and even a Fierce Fist Elite Trainer box, these go for thousands of dollars. 2, 3, 4, 5,000. That's how much these go for. So it's pretty insane. Plasma Storm, that might even go for even more. I honestly, I don't know how much this goes for. These rarely sell because they're so rare. But yeah, I mean, this is a little bit already some credibility here. Okay, maybe this person's not lying about $1 million. I mean, here you take these like XY ETBs, you're already over you're probably near 20 grand right there. So this person maybe he's not lying. But besides that, right, because this is all the information they give, to be honest, like they didn't really give many photos. Look at his profile. So I clicked on his profile to see, okay, is this a new account? Is this person just lying? Well, look here. This same user, as you can see, right, 7 years ago, wife got me a case so I can display some of my graded collection. And you can see they have a collection here, pretty much all 10s. There's like a 9 here. Basically all 10s in this case. And this was, 7 years ago. This person is not new. Here, 6 years ago, same person. My current PSA 10 Secret Energy collection goals to get at least one PSA 10 of each energy. This was 6 years ago, way before any boom. or any like, the recent booms. Like I said, this person is not really new. I don't know how much these go for, to be honest. I don't know how hard it is to grade these energies, but so I'm not exactly sure how expensive they are. But if you're into grading and maybe anything about secret rare energies, I don't know how much these are, but they're probably somewhat expensive. Just recently, 5 months ago, here's some cards they had. Some pretty expensive cards you can see here that they're sending off. Very expensive cards. You go through all these that they're sending. You can see, yeah, this person really isn't playing around. They have a very, very large collection. So, yeah. 3 months ago, anyone want to pump these for me? You can see here, secret rare energies. This person, like I said, I think you look at this and you look at this post. Yes, can they still lie about all the other stuff? Sure. But, I mean, they're showing some pretty high value items here. On their, account, they've posted things from 6 years ago, 7 years ago. And you see their collection. They have a lot of, multiples of all these expensive cards. I have a good feeling this person's not lying. Pretty insane. So let's just see what this person has to say about this. Been collecting since 2017 and have hit 7 figures. No plans to sell anything big at the moment, but am paring down my raw card collection into more slabs. Highlights of the collection include PSA 10 holo sets of first edition Fossil, Team Rocket, Gym Challenge, Gym Heroes. I purchased the full gym set for 4K and the Team Rocket set for 5K. The Fossil and Gym Hero set were acquired through me pulling some of the holos myself and purchasing the rest that didn't 10. All the boxes were about $1,500 each. That's how much they were back then. If you think about how much they are now, pretty insane. Complete ETB set, technically missing Mega Lucario ETB box, but trying to find MSRP before just buying one. I think they're talking about Mega Evolution, I think. Gold Star Charizard, currently my most expensive purchase for one card at $4,000. They only paid $4,000 and now it's worth like 60 grand. I don't know what the most recent sold is. I know Collector App is, I think it's based on that, so maybe it's around there. Currently working on finishing my Hidden Fates SV PSA 10 set. Shiny Volt. I have all of the remaining cards ready to grade, but the ones I haven't left aren't worth it to grade. I'll have very little Scarlet Violet slabs, and the only real exposure I have for slabs in Sword and Shield is Involving Skies. I do have some sealed from both eras, including booster box cases in Scarlet Violet, and most Sword and Shield, not Fusion, and Open My Evolving. That sucks. Been fun and will continue to be fun in years ahead. So if you take all this information, right? You look at their profile. They've been around for a little bit. This date, matches up with the post you saw from like 6 years ago. I don't think this person's lying. It's my personal opinion based on everything they've shown in their account. What I've shown you, this is not a troll post. This is not a troll account. I think this person's telling the truth. So, knowing that this is probably the truth, it's insane. $1 million. It shows that over time, if you were into Pokemon and you were doing this at a pretty large scale, like even just cards, right? I mean, cards back then, comparatively now were dirt cheap, and even singles, if you held on to them, even though it wasn't sealed, they've all exponentially grown. If you were doing this back then, obviously that's what 8 years ago, 2017. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what their basis is because this thing is messed up, their cost basis, but the return I know is insane. Whatever, it was. I know the return is absolutely insane. So honestly, it's very possible this person maybe only put a couple hundred thousand into here, and they have $1 million value. Honestly, if you were here 8 years ago doing all this stuff that this person was doing, it wouldn't be crazy to say you only put a couple $100,000 and now it's worth $1 million. Honestly, because I even made a video, talking about if you invested into just Evolving Skies booster boxes, even the cases, you would have only need to spend about like $40,000 to $50,000 in Evolving Skies booster boxes, and today you would become a millionaire. So I'm telling you, it's very possible. So I know this, to maybe new people, it sounds insane. Like there's no way. But if you were here before all this boom stuff, when things were dirt cheap, and you had like maybe $100,000, $200,000 in a Pokemon, you could have relatively easily became a millionaire. And yeah, this person's just proof of that. Man's literally answered the question too, if you could go back to 1999, what would you do differently? I mean, it wasn't even, I mean, this wasn't even that long. Like 8 years, yeah, it's 8 years, but this wasn't even in the 90s or early 2000s. We're talking about 2017. What is that? Is that XY? Is that XY era? Is that end of XY or Sun and Moon? Honestly, I don't know. Somewhere around there. Congrats. Please make sure it is properly insured. Thanks. Most are away. Fanatics, PSA, or other vaults in fully insured. If the ETB collection keeps going wild, I'll have to update my policy. So it looks like they have it, covered. So that's great. It's the selling part that is hard. The slabs are easy to sell. The hardest will be the WotC boxes simply due to skepticism. Yeah, like, older boxes, you have in that high value, you kind of have to worry about that stuff. I don't have plans to sell them, so it's fine, but down the road, that's my biggest concern. Honestly, I mean, seemingly this person bought like boxes they even said for like $1,500. You know, best case, or probably the best thing to do if you're going to sell that box is probably, I don't know what auction place is the best place to do it, but probably auction at one of those places, and get someone to verify, or you can do it, honestly, if you're selling those types of boxes, maybe private, maybe one of those conventions, probably the best bet. With this kind of collection, I don't think my man should have any issues selling. That's the highest portfolio value I've ever seen, and also the highest return on investment. Yeah, it's insane. Bro shows 1 million collector, and only proof is a couple of ETBs. Yeah, so I know some people are skeptical about this person, but I mean, they even said it here. They have stuff in vaults and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised. And like I said, you look at the whole account age and everything, the progression and what they had. I'm not that surprised. Like, I mean, it is surprising looking at $1 million. But like I said, if you were doing this and you were buying the good stuff, the top cards, some of this sealed stuff from 8 years ago, before any of the recent booms, like I said, you probably only needed to put a couple 100,000, and you would have easily became a millionaire. Like it is that simple, but just not many people did it. That's the thing. So just want to show you guys this. Very insane. $1 million. I know there's people out there that have this already that are much newer, but it shows you if you were here in the long term and you just liked Pokemon and you had some money, well, you probably became a millionaire. So that's all I want to share with you all. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.